This week, I went for my annual health checkup and to review my blood test results. And at the end of my appointment, the doctor said something that made me leave the office with the biggest smile ever. He said that if everyone was as healthy as you, I'd be way less busy. And beyond feeling deeply grateful for my health and the privilege and opportunity to nourish my body the way I do, to exercise every day, it also made me reflect on how confusing healthy living has become nowadays. With the World Wide Web at our fingertips and so many sources of information constantly contradicting each other, it's no surprise that being healthy can start to feel so overwhelming that we end up not even getting started in the first place. So in today's video, I'd like to take a step back and simplify things a little. Because being in excellent health really doesn't need to be nearly as complicated as we've made it to be. The first confusion I'd like to untangle right off the bat is this thought of, okay, you need to eat less chocolate, less candy, less sugar, less this, less that. And instead, actually look at, okay, why is it that I feel so drawn to these things? And if I want to quit them, what is the reason underneath that I need to resolve to no longer feel drawn to these foods, to these activities, to these things? And resolve the iceberg underneath, because us craving certain things that are dysfunctional, that are destructive for our body, is just the tip of the iceberg. And when we really allow ourselves to dive deep and see, okay, why is this something that I'm doing? Why is it that I'm sabotaging myself? It's so much more powerful, because this is what is going to create lasting change versus constantly just trying to fix the tip of the iceberg, to fix that result. And if you take away one thing from this video, it's that the problem is most often not the problem. Ask yourself, what is that one thing you know that one thing that you're doing that's actually something you want to stop doing? Your soul is craving for you to step up and to say, no more. I'm going to do something that actually is really, really good for my health, really, really good for myself. Because when we take good care of our health, we also have now the space to take care of all the other things in our life that are important to us. We have the energy to thrive, to spend time with our friends, family, loved ones, to do the projects that want to come into creation, that our soul is just burning to get out there. Because I truly believe we have come here to this earth to create, to inspire one another, to support, uplift one another. When we step into our highest health, we will really create the potential to do that. And also, I am doing another fully raw challenge in March or beginning of April. The exact dates will be released soon. It's been so fun. The first challenge in January, really, we have created a huge shift. Like, even I learned so much during this week, even though I was the one like putting out the recipes and the inspiration and the input. We had group calls, so it was really fun. I'm going to be hosting it for one last time for free. So if you want to join that, then send me a message with the words "I am in" on WhatsApp and I'll add you to the group. When I used to be 40 pounds overweight back in the days, I was constantly thinking, okay, I should stop consuming this, and this. Pretty much everything I was eating, because everything was contradicting each other and saying, okay, don't eat carbs, don't eat sugar, don't eat salt. No, salt is really good. And this is the second confusion that I would like to untangle today. And that is that you need a certain thing on the outside to make you feel better, when in reality, it's your body performing the miracle. It's your body doing all the work for you when you put it in the right environment, and even when you don't. Even back in the days when I would binge eat so much that I couldn't move anymore on the worst foods, my body would still continue to heal and detox and take care of this thing. It would perform the biggest miracles. I was like, how is this even possible? And I think when we start to realize it's our body doing the thing, not anything on the outside, then it also becomes much easier to double check with every information that you hear online, whether it comes from a place that resonates with you, or whether it comes from a place of truth, or whether it comes from a place that just straight up doesn't make any sense. And I really highly encourage you to double check everything you hear, even everything I say here on this channel and everything else you hear from other nutritionists, from magazines, from books. Double check everything you hear with your intuition and ask yourself, does this feel like it makes sense? Does this feel like something I genuinely feel excited to apply in my own life? And if there's a yes, and I'm sure you know what a yes feels, because we've all had experiences in our lives where we had to make a decision and it just felt so right to do it. And then when we look back, it was the best decision ever. Like, for example, in my life, when I finished high school, my dad said I actually wanted to do an au pair in London because that was what my sister did. And I was so convinced and convicted, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go partying every weekend. I'm gonna go shopping and buy the coolest clothes and make some new friends there. And then we went out for burgers and my dad was like, Julia, how about you go to Australia and I'll pay for your ticket? Because when he said, I was like, how am I going to pay for that ticket? I mean, I had money saved up, but I was like, Australia is expensive and I'm going to be far away from my family and I'm going to miss all my friends. But he was like, I'm going to buy your ticket. Do it. It's going to be so good for you. And I ended up doing it because there was, even though it didn't make any sense in my head, there was a very clear yes in my body of do that. And I'm sure you've had an experience like that too. And you know, now when I look back, it's been the best decision of my life, because when I was in Australia, I discovered, you know, the high carbohydrate, high fruit lifestyle. I discovered yoga and meditation and spirituality and so many things. I've had some of the most beautiful experiences over there. I learned surfing. I saw kangaroos. It was such a good decision. Now looking back, I can see that back then when my dad suggested it, I was like, no way I'm going to do that. I'm so scared. And this kind of feeling you want to aim for when you hear an information about nutrition. And when you have that, yes, this is it, go for it. When you have a feeling of ickiness, I'm sure I've also made decisions in my life that looking back, like, weren't the best decision. I'm like, okay, Julia, we got to step up our game here. And, you know, everything inside of me was like, no, don't do it. And I did it anyway because of fear, because of doubts, because I thought I'm not good enough. And those decisions, when I look back, ended up not being something that was very supportive for my life path, for my health. It wasn't fun to be in that situation and the aftermath. So this kind of feeling is a clear indicator for me now when I hear an information about nutrition. When I have that feeling, I'm like, no, even it might make sense rationally to do it, but if my feeling is like, no, I don't do it. And then on top of that, I also always use my intellect and my rational way of thinking and logic to ask myself, does it make sense? So for example, when I was younger, I fell into the trap of the low carbohydrate diet. And I thought you need to eat very few carbs, you know, less than 100 grams a day. And if you eat carbs, it has to be long chain complex carbohydrates that are hard to digest. And back then, I mean, everything inside of me was like, no, this doesn't make any sense. And like, no carbs. I love potatoes and rice and I love fruit. I love juicy peaches and nectarines. I love apples. I love bananas. And I'm supposed to not eat them because they have sugar, and sugar are simple carbs. And I mean, fruit comes from a tree. It's natural. Why would I not do that? But someone told me he lost like a ton of weight doing that. And I was like, okay, it has to work. And then I lost weight super quickly. And I was like, okay, even though it's everything inside of me saying, no, I'm still going to continue this. And I ended up, you know, getting into the worst binge cycles afterwards, gaining a lot of weight because at one point my body just exploded. I was like, I can't continue doing this anymore. And this was the toughest lesson in my life when it comes to nutrition, but it also taught me so much about really listening to my intuition and what it wants to tell me, and always double checking with my common sense. And my common sense has always known, you know, I've been into running and exercise and fitness all my life, really. I remember getting my first running shoes when I was 12. And I always knew when I had a good carb-rich breakfast, like some porridge, some bananas, some apples, I would feel like flying when I was on the tracks, and I would literally feel invincibles. And carbs are our primary fuel source. Every cell in the body runs on glucose. And of course, we are adaptive creatures. Our bodies are such miracles. They can run on anything. They can run on just protein, just fat, just oil. The question is just, is it the most optimal thing for our body? Is it the most sustainable thing? Is it something that makes us feel good? And my performance has always been the best when I ate a lot of carbohydrates. And even like this thought of, okay, complex carbs versus simple carbs, you know, I've been asking myself a lot back then, okay, but like simple carbs, I can't do it. Like I should go for the complex carbs because they don't spike the blood sugar as much. Instead of looking, okay, what are the actual real efficient factors that will stabilize your blood sugar? And of course, food is one important one, but also exercise is incredibly important for stabilizing blood sugar. You know, even when I was eating a very clean and healthy diet, when I wasn't doing exercise, I would still run into somewhat blood sugar problems. Nothing extreme, but I could just feel how my body wasn't utilizing the fuel I was putting in very efficiently, and I would have these energy crashes. And the energy crashes disappeared. My blood sugar stabilized when I started to also move my body. And I hate to break it to you if that's something you don't have time for right now, or that feels like a big hurdle to overcome. But it's something that, you know, is going to become so much easier when you run on the fuel that you're designed for, which is another factor of why I think it's not as black and white, and you also cannot generalize it for every single person. Because, yeah, for some people it might really work to eat, for example, complex carbohydrates or eat less than 100 grams of carbs. I just know that for myself, I really want to move a lot as well. And if I were to follow that kind of diet, then the energy to do that wouldn't really be there. It also affects your sleep. When you eat easy to digest foods that don't take a lot of time to get transformed into energy inside your body, then your sleep is going to be so good because your body isn't digesting food overnight. It has already done that throughout the day, and then it can focus on all the other important tasks during the night. And good sleep, good energy levels is also something that hugely impacts your blood sugar levels. I remember when I was a caretaker and I would have night shifts, my blood sugar and energy spikes and crashes, it was out of whack. So when I got back into a really healthy sleep cycle, waking up at somewhat of the same time and going to bed at somewhat of the same time, this has also had a huge impact on my blood sugar levels. And then the third big confusion I would like to untangle today is this idea that when we have a symptom, then there's something wrong with us and we need to remove that symptom as soon as possible. We need to fight it and we need to look at it as the enemy. And really, this couldn't be further from the truth, because what happens when we do that is that we literally turn off the most important messenger inside of ourselves telling us when something is wrong. So let's take inflammation, for example. Maybe you've seen my latest video where I talk about how inflammation is just information. It's your body asking you for support. Hey, I need your help. Please do something for me. And usually when we fine-tune our signal to our body and we really learn to listen to it, we can also hear what that one thing is we need to change. And usually it isn't anything grand. It's usually the very, very small things that will have the biggest impact. And it's also usually not something that needs to be such a drag and so boring and just like, it's usually something that fuels us with excitement, because our body wants us to thrive, so it won't send us signals to do stuff that we don't want to do. It will be something that will excite you. But for that, it's really, really important that we tune out of all that chatter that we're hearing on social media and all those magazines and all those health YouTube videos, even my YouTube videos. Like, tune out of that and ask your own body, what do you want to tell me? What do I need to do? Because that is way more powerful than anything you will read on there. And I know that's probably gonna make you not click on that many more videos of mine, but if that's the case, that's okay with me, because I really want you to hear this message that your body is much smarter than any YouTube video. So stop watching those YouTube videos after this one and ask yourself, ask your body, what do you want from me? And when we do that, then our symptoms will not just disappear temporarily, but we will actually remove the deep root cause of what's, again, the underlying issue, the underlying iceberg under the tip of the iceberg. We will remove that and it will be gone forever if we manage to stay in that high vibration, in that high frequency where we just naturally, it just flows through us, that we go to bed early, that we go out into the woods after breakfast to help us with the blood sugar, or that we eat that healthy breakfast. That just comes through us because we're on that high vibe. So then it's just about, okay, how can I keep that vibe up? But really, don't focus on what's going on the outside and removing that, but use all of these signals that your body is sending you, whether it's puffiness or inflammation, whether it's overweight. There's nothing wrong with you if that's the case. It's just a signal of your body telling you, hey, please change something. This is going to create true lasting change and impact, not just on yourself, but also on everyone around you. Because when you're thriving and you're feeling good sustainably, from within, not just without, everything looks neat and nice and healthy, but also from within, the fire of health and vitality is burning inside of you. You're glowing. You're the most vibrant, healthy, rich, alive, wealthy, healthy person that you can be. You affect the people around you. And that's also my vision. Like, I want to create this revolution where all of us, we're just in so good health that we inspire everyone around us. Like, I can already see it now that my family starts eating better when I'm taking good care of myself. They start eliminating things that they know are not good for them. Of course, they're not doing the exact same thing as me, and I also don't want that. There has been a time in my life where I felt a little bit like that of, I wish my family would eat so healthy so that it would feel good, because I knew how good I started to feel when I changed my diet. But removing that has been really, really great, because I truly believe, I also don't want to tell you anymore what to eat, because you know that way better than I do. And also my parents and my family, they all know way better what they need to do and change. And also, by the way, this is not medical advice. This is just what I feel really called and excited to share with you today. But yeah, listen to your doctor, of course, and go there, get your blood tests, get your health checkups, make sure everything is fine. And if there's something going on, see if he can help you. But also make sure you always have your power in your hands. You have control over your health in your own hands. And if you now want to see 10 weight loss habits, make sure to click here. Or if you want to see what an experience at a fully raw retreat is like, then you can click here. Maybe see you there. Bye.